Hi guys, it's Sarah here and I'm here today to talk to you about dressing the triangle shape. If you haven't seen my other video about how to take your measurements and identify your body shape, please check that out. I'm going to link it down below the video. So let's get started. First of all, what is the triangle shape? Just a quick reminder, it's a person who has narrower shoulders, waistline, and then it gets wider towards the hip area. Let's talk about some examples in the celebrity world so that you can get some style inspiration from them as well. So we're thinking about the likes of Jennifer Lopez, Beyonce, and Leona Lewis. So the first question I would ask a client when I'm working with them is, what is it you want to achieve? Because I can give you a list of general guidelines, but that may not suit everybody. Some people are okay with having a bigger booty on the bottom and a smaller top, and maybe that's what they want to maintain. However, generally speaking, I'm going to give you the guidelines that most people want, which is achieving balance. We're trying to maintain the size of the lower half, if not reduce it. We want to avoid adding extra bulk to that half. So how can we do that? Well, here's a couple of tips. In terms of trousers, we want to be looking at something that has either a straight leg, a boot cut leg, or a wide leg. Skinny trousers will only emphasize the width of the hip area. We also want to avoid things like lines, horizontal lines that go across the hip area. Sometimes you can find this in denim. You've got bleached lines that go across the hip area. This will only serve to widen that area. So it's a great idea to go for darker colors on the bottom if you are trying to reduce that, the width of that area. Avoid patterns. You want a good material that's going to support the hip area, the bum, but you don't want anything that's going to add volume. So we're talking about things like cord or velvet on the lower half. Also, large patterns and things like that are going to increase the area as well. So if you're going to go for a pattern, if you like that, if you're a creative style, then you might want to go for a smaller pattern. In terms of jeans, we're looking at how high they rise or how low they rise on the hips. A good starting point for the triangle shape would be to go for a mid-rise jean. So anything too low, you're going to have some gaping when you sit down. It's going to go riding down. We don't want to see any butt crack. So keep the rise of the jean just to a mid-rise. The difficulty that these shapes have, like the triangle shape and the hourglass figure, for example, is that you might have to go up a size to accommodate the width of your hips, and that leaves you with a gaping back because generally speaking, you go to a narrower waist. So it's always a good idea to wear a belt. Another way to reduce bulk on that half of the body is to wear something with a zip rather than buttons down the front, which are going to add bulk. A zip at the side or a zip at the back will give clean lines on the front. So let's move on to skirts. What should you be looking for if you like to wear skirts? Well, a pencil skirt would be good for you, something that goes down in a straight line. It just skims the hip. It doesn't add bulk. So you want to avoid things like pleats in skirts, for example. So a nice fabric that just skims from the waist over the hips and falls nicely in a straight line. This is going to be super flattering on your triangle shape. This also applies to dresses. However, you've got to consider what you're doing with the top half as much as you are doing with the bottom half. You want something that's going to skim the hips, and on the upper half, you are going to be looking at something with maybe some embellishment on the upper half of the body, some ruffles. You want to create width on the shoulders by having a nice wide boat neckline, for example. And while we're on the topic, let's talk about the tops. So on the upper half, to create balance with the lower half, you want to add volume to this part. So again, adding ruffles, adding patterns, adding designs, playing around with fabrics in this area, and necklines. Horizontal lines look great. They're going to broaden you on the shoulders, creating nice balance with the hips. And as well, you don't want to forget about your nice small waist that you have. So you want to accentuate that by tucking that in, maybe with a belt or a nice fitted top. Moving on to jackets. So in terms of jackets, you want to be looking at something again that's going to add bulk to the upper half of the body. So things like trench coats, military style jackets are going to look great on this figure. The military style jackets are fantastic because they're going to add structure and height to the shoulders, and that's going to create width, creating balance with the lower half. You want to look for something that is possibly double-breasted rather than single-breasted. This is going to create bulk in this area, bringing balance again to the overall look. Trench coats look great because you can belt them in at your smallest part, and then they will skim over the hip line. So finally, let's talk about accessories. This is something that a lot of people forget to talk about on these YouTube videos, but it completely finishes the look, so it's important to address it. So for the triangle shape, the accessories you want to be thinking about would create more volume, would bring the attention up towards the face. So you can get away with a lot of fun, chunky jewelry, something like costume jewelry, great earrings, anything that's going to draw the attention up towards the upper half of the body. You can also wear beautiful scarves around the top of the body, wrap them around your neck, play around with them. This is all going to create the attention on the upper body. In terms of handbags, yes, you must consider what handbags you're going to wear if you want to create the perfect balance to your body shape. So if you think about like a long strapped handbag or a crossbody handbag, something that's going to sit right on the hips, again, this is going to create more volume on the hips, which is not what you want to be doing if you're creating balance to the triangle body shape. So something that sits right up under the arm is perfect for you. You can even have a clutch bag under the arm or a bag that has a small strap that just loops onto the arm. That's it for today, guys. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe, and let me know what video you would like to see next in the comments below. And if you have any questions, again, comments below, I will get back to you. See you next time.